Have you ever wondered what life was like before cities, before roads, before the very idea of a home as we know it? Let's journey back in time, way back to an era when all of humanity lived on the move. This is the story of our nomadic ancestors, a tale of survival, discovery, and the first steps towards civilization. Imagine a world ruled not by clocks and calendars, but by the sun, the seasons, and the constant search for food and water. For tens of thousands of years, this was the human experience. We were hunter-gatherers, small family groups or clans, traversing vast, untamed landscapes. Life was a rhythmic dance with nature. The men often took on the dangerous task of hunting. They weren't chasing small game. They were tracking mammoths, bison, and giant deer. This required immense courage, skill, and incredible teamwork. They developed sophisticated tools from stone, bone, and wood, spears, axes, and sharp-edged flints. Every hunt was a life-or-death gamble, but a successful one meant survival for the entire group. Meanwhile, the women and children were the gatherers, the backbone of the daily food supply. They had an encyclopedic knowledge of the land, knowing which plants were edible, which were medicinal, and which were deadly. They gathered roots, berries, nuts, and seeds, providing a more stable and reliable source of nutrition than hunting alone. This division of labor wasn't about hierarchy. It was about efficiency and survival. Everyone had a crucial role to play. The day didn't end at sunset. The mastery of fire was perhaps the single most important breakthrough for early humans. Fire was more than just warmth on a cold night. It was a beacon of safety, warding off nocturnal predators. It was a kitchen, allowing them to cook meat, making it easier to digest and unlocking more nutrients. It was a social hub, a place where the clan would gather, share stories, strengthen bonds, and pass down knowledge through generations. Around the flickering flames, the first sparks of culture, language, and community truly ignited. But this life was unimaginably harsh. Nature was both a provider and a relentless adversary. A sudden flood could wash away a campsite. A long drought could wither all edible plants and drive away game. A bitter winter could freeze the life out of the unprepared. Predators like saber-toothed cats and giant bears were a constant threat. Injury and disease were often a death sentence. The average life expectancy was brutally short, maybe 30 or 35 years. Every day was a testament to human resilience, our ability to adapt, innovate, and persevere against overwhelming odds. So what changed? After millennia of this nomadic existence, something extraordinary began to happen. It wasn't a sudden event, but a slow creeping revolution in human thinking. Perhaps our ancestors began to notice that seeds they discarded would sprout into new plants. Maybe they observed how certain fertile areas, like river valleys, offered a more consistent supply of food. The idea of staying in one place, of not having to constantly roam, began to take root. This was the birth of agriculture. It started small. People began intentionally planting seeds and cultivating crops. They learned to manage water, creating simple irrigation. At the same time, they started domesticating animals, taming wild goats, sheep, and cattle to provide a ready source of meat, milk, and hides. This shift was monumental. For the first time, humans weren't just taking from nature. They were actively shaping it to meet their needs. This agricultural revolution changed everything. With a stable food surplus, not everyone needed to be a farmer or hunter. People could specialize. Some became potters, creating vessels to store grain and water. Others became builders, constructing more permanent dwellings from mud, wood, and stone. Weavers created textiles for clothing and shelter. The first small villages began to form. These weren't just temporary camps. They were settlements, the seeds of future cities. Living together in larger groups created new challenges and opportunities. People needed rules, leaders, and ways to organize their new society. They needed to defend their stored food and their land from outsiders. This led to the development of social structures, early forms of government, and organized defense. Trade began to flourish between settlements, exchanging goods, ideas, and technologies. From these humble beginnings in places like the Fertile Crescent, civilization was born. The ability to settle down, grow food, and create a surplus allowed for the rise of complex societies, writing, art, science, and everything that followed. The journey from a wandering hunter-gatherer to a citizen of a bustling city is the very essence of our human story. Looking back at our nomadic past isn't just a history lesson, it's a mirror reflecting our own nature. The deep-seated need for community, our innate ingenuity, Our resilience in the face of hardship, all these traits were forged in that prehistoric world. It reminds us that for the vast majority of our time on this planet, we lived in harmony, and sometimes in conflict, with the natural world. It teaches us about sustainability, adaptation, and the incredible power of a simple idea to change the world forever. The legacy of our nomadic ancestors lives on within each of us. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more lessons from history. Let me know in the comments what part of our ancient past you'd like to explore next. See you in the next one.